Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Emily Echeverria. Today we're talking about atrial fibrillation with Dr. Farhat Mehmood, a cardiac electrophysiologist with the Baptist Heart and Vascular Institute. Next up, we'll be finding out how you can be a Santa to a senior this holiday season. And finally, we're checking in with Council on Aging of West Florida's many service offerings and how you can get involved. Stay with us. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active in life and involved in the community can become a challenge. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's wide range of home-based services, you remain healthy, independent, and engaged. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, you'll find the support and connection that you need to age well. Aging looks different for everyone, and we're here to help you meet your needs and thrive while maintaining what makes you, you. We've been in the community since 1972, advocating for elders and supporting those who care for our parents and grandparents. Now, join us as we discuss the age-related issues that matter to you. Atrial fibrillation affects millions of people in the United States. Currently, there are 2.7 million people suffering from it, and prevalence is increasing, in part due to the fact that we're living longer. We will learn more about what atrial fibrillation is, what factors contribute to atrial fibrillation, and how you can seek treatment. We are joined by Dr. Farhat Mehmood, a cardiac electrophysiologist that provides care to patients at Baptist Heart and Vascular Institute. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
So first, what is atrial fibrillation?
So atrial fibrillation, as you said, is very common, one of the most common arrhythmia of the heart, where normally your upper and the lower chamber of the heart, they are beating in sync with each other. So when you have atrial fibrillation, the upper chambers, they have some areas, abnormal areas that start firing in a way that the upper chamber start beating randomly as if there is an electrical storm in the upper chamber. So instead of having an effective contraction, the beat so fast that they start quivering. Therefore, we call atrial fibrillation. And atria means the upper chamber is called atrium. So the upper chamber start fibrillating means that they beat very fast, and that is called atrial fibrillation. And then in turn make the lower chamber go fast.
Gotcha. How would someone know that they have atrial fibrillation?
So majority of the patient has symptoms, and the minority of the patient don't have symptoms. So if you have symptoms, there most commonly will be palpitations as if their heart is beating very fast. There could be chest pain, there could be shortness of breath at rest or exertion, or sometimes atrial fibrillation can present as a stroke, so they will have a stroke-like symptoms.
And what complications can atrial fibrillation cause?
So the most dreadful complication of atrial fibrillation is to have a stroke. So what happens then, as I said before, when the upper chamber start beating very fast, curving, so the blood kind of swirls around the upper chamber. It does not really empty out completely in the lower chamber. So because the blood swirls around, there is a left upper chamber of the heart. It has a small area where the blood can go and cannot come out very quickly. So it's kind of swirled around that area. In that area, the blood kind of stagnant. When the blood becomes stagnant, it develops into a clot, and that clot goes down the lower chamber and pumps up out of the heart to the body, mainly going to the brain, causing a stroke, which we call a ischemic stroke, due to the clot formation in the upper chamber of the heart.
Is that stroke risk the same for every patient with atrial fibrillation?
So, as I said, the stroke is a risk factor, but it may not be the same for everybody. It depends on what other bad disease processes you have. So, for example, if someone has high blood pressure, diabetes, history of stroke, or they have blocked heart arteries, or risk of stroke is more in female than male, so sex play a role also. So the risk is variable, but is always there.
And how can someone reduce that risk?
So there are two ways to do that. One way is that if we can make the blood thin, so we give medications, used to be like warfarin or Coumadin, but now we have the Pradaxa, Savesa, Eliquis, and Xarelto, the new medication. So we give the medicine, the blood is thin enough that even if during atrial fibrillation it swirls around the upper chamber, it will be less likely to develop into clot and therefore reduce the risk. So that's one way of doing that. And second to do is that if they cannot take blood thinner, then there are other options.
That brings me to the next question. What if a patient cannot or does not want to be on blood thinners?
So if they have bleeding disorders, or if they have hemorrhoids, stomach ulcers, or older people, they fall a lot, and if they're on a blood thinner, they can fall and can have bleeding in the brain, or other bad issues can happen from bleeding. So if they don't want to take or they cannot take blood thinner, then we have a small device that we can put in their heart. It's not an open heart surgery. We go from the groin through a small vein in the heart, and as I said before, in the left upper chamber of the heart, there is a small area which looks like a windsock. So the blood goes in and out in that small area, and during atrial fibrillation, stagnation happens in that area. And if we can block the blood going in and out of that small area by putting a plug at the mouth of a windsock, or we call it an atrial appendage, then we can block that. So this way they have to only take blood thinner for a few months after the procedure, and then only aspirin for the rest of their life. So this is an alternative to people who cannot or they don't wish to take blood thinners. And that procedure is an outpatient procedure we perform at the Baptist Vascular Heart Institute. It takes about 1 hour to do the procedure, and patients stay in the hospital for 4 or 5 hours and go home the same day.
Gotcha. So what is the treatment for atrial fibrillation?
So once we have taken care of the stroke risk, then comes the treatment, what we are going to do for atrial fibrillation itself. So there are medications and there are ablation. Medications, like older way of treating atrial fibrillation, we had like 40, 50 years ago, give medication. Medication have the side effects of their own. So if they cannot take medication or they don't prefer to take medication, the best way to deal with atrial fibrillation is by ablation. It's also an outpatient procedure. We perform percutaneously, no open heart surgery or anything. We go from the groin, go in the heart, and as I said before, that abnormal areas, they are firing randomly in the heart, making the upper chamber go very fast and swerving. We go and kind of zap them, we call, burn them, give small burns, microscopic burn, and with the hope that the area will go away, these abnormal area will go away, and then kind of treat atrial fibrillation.
And who should a patient see if they have atrial fibrillation?
So used to be general cardiology, but now we have specialized people like such as cardiac electrophysiologist. If they have atrial fibrillation, they should seek the help of a cardiac electrophysiologist who can suggest them what to do in terms of medications, anticoagulations, or alternative to anticoagulation or ablation.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Mehmood.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next, we're talking Christmas and how you can be a blessing to an elderly adult this season.
If you're looking for a fun and exciting environment for your loved one, then L&L Executive Adult Daycare is a perfect fit. We offer social gatherings, physical activities, games, outings, and daily luncheons from Karen's Catering. We take a holistic approach to social stimulation and aim to enrich the lives of our guests. Let us help restore your loved one's mind, body, and soul. We'd love to speak to you. L&L Executive Adult Daycare. Big business love with small town feel.
Animal Allies is looking for volunteers, and there are many ways that you can help. From taking care of cats to using your computer and social media skills, any and all assistance is greatly appreciated. We have morning and afternoon shifts every day or help at adoption events. You can even foster a kitty at home. And it counts towards community service hours for bright futures. Find Animal Allies Florida on Facebook and Instagram, or go to aaflorida.org/volunteer.
The Beacon at Gulf Breeze offers the finest senior living community in the area. We are here for your loved ones who need assisted living and advanced memory care services. Seniors will feel right at home with studio, one-bedroom apartments, a large dining area, a beautiful landscape courtyard, and even a salon. With professional staff and one-on-one care, your loved ones are our top priority. Welcome to the Beacon at Gulf Breeze. Welcome home.
The holidays are not all merry and bright for everyone in our community, especially for some of our vulnerable elder adults. Luckily, there are many organizations in our community that work together to make the Christmas season all it should be for those who deserve the most. Let's hear more about how you can be a Santa to a senior with Stacy Robello. Thank you for being here, Stacy.
Thank you.
So first, tell us about Home Instead and your role there.
Sure. Home Instead, what we do is we provide care for seniors wherever they call home. So anything from whether it be just light housekeeping and meal preparation, or if they need more intensive care like personal care or Alzheimer's and dementia care, we can provide those services wherever they call home. And my husband and I, we became the owners in 2017. I'd worked for the company for many, many years prior to that. So I'm a second generation owner, so I'm very passionate about what I do.
Yeah, awesome. So the holidays are approaching. What is Home Instead doing for seniors this year?
So every year we do a program called Be a Santa to a Senior. And what we do is we partner with people like Council on Aging that give us names of seniors that possibly will be lonely or don't have any family that might not give them gifts this year. And so what we do is we put trees up either at Sam's, Walmart. Past couple of years we've had some new vendors come into play, like the YMCA or Escambia County Sheriff's Office. And what they do is they put trees up for us, and it has ornaments on there, and the paper ornaments will have a gift on there for them. And it might even be a couple of gifts, but anybody can go pick one up and turn the gift in to the tree, and then we take those back to our office and we let them accumulate over several weeks. And then we have a big gift wrapping party and send them out back out to the seniors so that they can have a gift for the season. So it really is something, we think about seniors as giving back to them because, they have been the ones that have paved the way to where we are now. And, we think about them, but this is our way of saying thank you.
Yeah. So why is this so important for our older adults in our community?
Well, like I said, they are, they paved that way for us. It's our way of saying thank you. And I think, the children are always remembered in Christmas. When we think about Christmas, we think about giving the gifts to children, Santa bringing them.
Absolutely.
But, the seniors are sometimes forgotten, or we just think they're going to be okay. And sometimes that's really where we need to make that effort to make sure that they know that we're thinking about them and that they can, because it could very well be their last Christmas.
Absolutely. What are some of the items that are asked for by the seniors?
It can be anything from like a microwave. I'm not seems kind of big, but if you think about it, when somebody is living at home, they need to heat up a meal. And that might be their only way of doing it because a stove just might not be an option for them. It might be too complicated for them to use. But it might be something as small as maybe just a warm pair of socks or a robe, or sometimes it just might even be something particular that they've asked for, like some of their favorite candy. We've had quite a few seniors ask for large wall clocks this year. So I think sometimes we have to think about, what is some of their, that they're dealing with in their older age. Like I said, the large numbers on a clock, we don't think about that when you buy a clock, for yourself. But something for a senior, you might need to do that.
Right. And I know I've seen, a lot of very simple gifts, a new pack of T-shirt, a pair of cozy socks, a new bathrobe, just these kind of cozy items that, they might need a new pack of.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me, how can people get involved?
Well, so Sam's has a tree, so that's a public area they can go to. Walmart and Gulf Breeze, they can go in there, and as soon as you walk in the entrance, you'll see the tree with an ornament on there. Just select what you want to get for the senior. Go purchase it at the store. Make sure that you put it back in the box with the ornament attached to it. You don't have to wrap it. If you want to, that's fine. Some people prefer to do that. And then we'll take it back to our office and we'll make sure that it gets to the right person. We do have some private areas that we do have a tree up, like the YMCA downtown. We do have a doctor's office, Dr. Gott Health. It's their second year that they've joined us in doing this. And then also the First United Methodist Church downtown, their congregation has been very supportive of our program. So we're, it's really neat because, usually we do just partner with merchandisers, but over the years we've seen that churches and even some companies have wanted to put a tree up, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I love that. And tell me a bit more about the gift wrapping party. Can people get involved with that?
Yes, and so we love volunteers because we have hundreds of gifts to wrap. It starts at 10 o'clock. It will be at our office at 817 North Palafox. We will have all the gift wrapping supplies provided along with some refreshments, but we encourage people to come by and wrap a few gifts, and usually we can get it done in a couple hours, so don't wait, but we love for anyone to come by.
And quickly, can you give me, what are the dates of this? When is the kind of deadline to get the presents in?
Yeah, so our last day to turn in gifts will be December 19th. We'll be taking the trees down that day. And the very next day, December 20th, is when we'll have our gift wrapping party. And then we hope to have all the gifts out by the end of the week so that they will have a present to open by Christmas Day.
Awesome. Well, a great community event.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Stay with us. We're talking about all the programs and offerings of Council on Aging when we return.
Over 2 decades ago, TLC Caregivers partnered with the Council on Aging of West Florida to assist seniors with non-medical help to stay independent in their own homes. Our commitment to providing these services started in 1989 and has grown to aid people from birth through geriatrics. From a short visit of 2 hours to 24 hours a day. We're a proud sponsor of the Council on Aging of West Florida. We're TLC Caregivers.
Did you know that listening to music, enjoying art, or simply holding hands can boost your cognition? Trying new foods, making friends, and being curious helps too. Just like me, you want to maintain your brain health for as long as possible. I'd like to share with you insights that can make a difference. I'm Kevin Jameson, President of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you our free guide. Inside, you'll find 10 building blocks to better brain health, along with facts about dementia, care planning, and how experts make a diagnosis. You'll learn what dementia is and isn't. The Dementia Society of America is a nonprofit organization, and we are ready to answer your questions. Get your free copy of the guide by visiting 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or by calling 1-800-DEMENTIA. You want to live life to the fullest? I do too, and I'm confident that our free guide can help.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
When cancer tries to take you away from the things that matter most, Baptist Cancer Institute offers caring physicians and the most innovative treatment options. With convenient locations and a wide array of support programs and services, we're here to help you during the most difficult of times. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we're bringing even more innovative cancer care to our community right here at home. When you need cancer care, we'll be there.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Council on Aging of West Florida is a local nonprofit dedicated to serving, supporting, and advocating for aging adults in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. We offer Meals on Wheels, senior dining sites, respite care, case management, and a range of other benefits to our area's older adults. But how do you qualify? When is the right time to inquire about services? And what help is available to caregivers and family members? Here to discuss this with us is Josh Newby, President and CEO of Council on Aging. Thank you for joining us today, Josh.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Emily. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us about some of the services that Council on Aging offers.
Yeah, Council on Aging is really focused on keeping seniors at home for as long as possible, living with dignity and as much independence as possible. And to that end, we provide a lot of the services that seniors are unable to do for themselves. A lot of the seniors are unable to cook for themselves, so we provide Meals on Wheels. Some elder adults can no longer toilet or bathe themselves, so we provide some of those more intensive social services as well. We provide respite for the caregivers, which is critical. I think a lot of times caregivers are overlooked if you don't work in this industry. Caregiver fatigue is very real, and they're sort of our first line of defense. We want to make sure that we care for them. We have an adult daycare off of 9th Avenue in Pensacola. We offer services that we hope are of benefit to the seniors, are of benefit to the caregivers, but also enable the elders to still participate in the community because we believe they still have so much to give back.
Take us through the process for enrolling in these programs.
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of people will call us at Council on Aging, and I don't blame them for that. Before I started working at Council on Aging, that would have been my first instinct as well. But while we provide the services, we don't actually do the assessment or the onboarding for the services. So let's say you're a senior in the community and you could really benefit from Meals on Wheels. You will not call us, you will call what's called the Area Agency on Aging, and that number is 850-494-7101. They're going to do the assessment. It'll be over the phone, it'll take about 45 minutes, and then they are going to assign you a number from 1 to 5. 5 being most needy, most at risk. If you're a 4 or a 5, you're going to be referred to us, and at that point we will take over and we'll begin executing the services. But in the state of Florida, what you want to do is start with your local Area Agency on Aging.
So Council on Aging not only serves our elders, but also the caregivers, as you mentioned. What services do you have for respite and support for family members?
Yeah, so the Senior Companion Program, I think, is really one of our most valuable programs that's also sort of unfortunately underseen in the community. We will pay a senior volunteer to come into the home of another senior for up to 20 hours a week. So let's say that, your mom is living with you and, you have to go to work during the day, your kid has to go to school, there's no one home with your mom. We will place a senior companion in your home to spend time with your mom while you're at work, while you're shopping, while you're just taking a day to yourself. And that is completely free to you and to your mom. Additionally, we have the adult daycare, as I mentioned. That tends to be for folks who are somewhere on the spectrum of dementia or they have some sort of diminished mental capacity, but that's also an option. And then we also offer caregiver support groups. So if you're a caregiver and you want to be connected with others who are also caregivers, we offer those as well.
Gotcha. What are some of the ancillary services we offer to the community, like the AC and heater distribution?
Yeah, that's a great question. So most of our services are funded, but we do a lot of things that are what we call unfunded programs because we believe that they're just the right thing to do. They're what seniors need. So you mentioned the air conditioners. That's part of our partnership with Sue Strawn in Channel 3, the Senior Chill Out. We solicit donations of air conditioners, then we distribute them to seniors in the summer who need them. We do the same thing in the winter, although it doesn't get as cold here as it does get hot. We also distribute heaters in the winter. We partner with other nonprofits to build wheelchair ramps. We do light home repair. It's the Christmas season, and as you just were speaking with Stacy, we distribute Christmas gifts so that elders know that they are remembered during the holiday season.
What are some of the volunteer opportunities that are available, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, I think Meals on Wheels is probably our most popular volunteer opportunity. You sign up for a once a week or once a month route, and it takes about an hour or an hour and a half. You can connect with Will Worth, our volunteer manager, for opportunities related to that. You can play bingo and lead exercises at any of our senior dining sites or at our adult daycare. You can do administrative tasks in the office. We try to find volunteer opportunities that fit your natural interests and that fit your schedule. So reach out to us. It's a very easy background screening that you have to go through that we pay for, and we can connect you with a good opportunity.
Great. What do you feel is the greatest challenge facing the older adults in our community right now?
That's a really good question, Emily.
Thank you.
I think that there is this notion that senior adults are taken care of by society because of Social Security, because of Medicare, because of these safety net programs. A lot of younger people, like you and I, sort of assume that seniors are taken care of, right? We should focus our attention on, children or dogs or whatever. But that's not the case. Social Security is not enough to live on. There are a lot of gaps in Medicare coverage. And so there is this invisibly needy population of senior adults who built this community, who built this country, who are suffering in silence, alone, in their own homes, day in and day out. So I think we need greater awareness of them and a larger infrastructure to support their needs, because they're living longer than ever. And, if you live 20 or 30 years past when you began Social Security, it's simply not going to be adequate for that amount of time.
Agreed. Before we wrap, tell us about how Council on Aging services are funded and what people can do to support the mission.
Yeah, we always appreciate donations. First and foremost, we are a nonprofit and we really value that. One thing that's great about donating to Council on Aging is if you donate $1, we're able to leverage that into 9 additional federal or state dollars. So, donating $10 has a $100 impact. And it is those federal and state monies that make up the majority of our budget. We also receive local funding from the city and the county and United Way. But so many of the extracurricular things that we do, like I mentioned earlier, the extra or the unfunded programs wouldn't happen if it weren't for donations, whether of actual cash or of tangible goods like adult incontinence supplies or arts and crafts, anything like that. We are community funded, we are community managed, and I encourage everyone out there to donate and to also support any legislation that increases funding for these valuable services.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us today, Josh.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.